made to be something that is completely false. It's about torn my family apart, but we're strong. And I've had so many friends, uh, so much family that have come around us, and uh, I'm proud that we're all brothers. And I'm so thankful that whatever the verdict was today, I was okay with it.
After 7 long
Families
years of
explain
wrapped up in a
diagnosis
scandal,
things.
Ted DiBiase Jr. was found not guilty. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Ted DiBiase Jr. was wrapped up in a scandal in Mississippi where they were using welfare funds and embezzling them to furnish their lavish lifestyle. I think around $77 million. 3 of that, around that, going to Ted DiBiase Jr., where he bought homes and boats and stuff like that. This is particularly vile because Mississippi is the poorest state in the nation. You may have actually heard of this scandal because Ted wasn't even the most famous person wrapped up in it. It was actually Brett Favre, as they said he used some of these funds to build a volleyball court for his alma mater. Now, it is important to point out that Brett, unlike Ted, was not charged, but he is named in a civil lawsuit that is ongoing along with Ted. One of the reasons this has taken so long for Ted DiBiase Jr. is because he's the only one in the group of people that were charged that did not take a plea deal and wanted to take this to trial and see a jury. It is now that I must introduce you to the real heel of our story, John Davis, who was the director of human resources and the one embezzling these millions of dollars of welfare funds through sham companies and schemes. Like Ted DiBiase Jr.'s thing was he was creating at the people of Mississippi. Essentially, this trial came down to 2 things. 1, who was actually in charge, and 2, how much did Ted DiBiase actually know? The most amusing part of this whole thing to me was the fact that the state pretty much argued that Davis was a loser and Ted used his cool factor and influence to get millions of dollars out of Davis and convinced him to scheme, pretty much saying that Davis was like an ugly man paying a beautiful woman just to give them attention. But Ted DiBiase's side quickly stated that, yeah, you've seen this man on stand. He's not innocent. He was the guy in charge. After hearing all the arguments, the jury took 4 hours to decide that Ted DiBiase Jr. was not guilty, essentially saying that, yeah, he did take these millions of dollars, but he didn't actually know the full extent of what was going on. Also important to point out that Ted DiBiase's brother, Brett, actually was one of the people that did take a plea deal and is awaiting sentencing.
What do y'all think about this? I'm gonna say I don't know what type of evidence they had, but let's put someone of a different complexion in the same scenario. Would we still get the same result? Now, I'm not saying he's guilty or innocent, but the way the justice system has been showing up, as far as I've been noticing, they don't favor certain complexions very much. He's lucky. He's definitely got favor over him. What kind? I don't know. But I always be wondering what happened to these athletes, because to me personally, if you manage to make that type of money, you would be smart enough to know how to invest to the extent that you're not out here halfway borderline on the street wearing chaps and trying to sell your butthole to keep a roof over your head. You know what I'm saying? And like I've noticed a lot of these people, they just live beyond their means after a while. You think that they doing good for themselves, but they fall off. It's either because of bad business or just ridiculous spending habits, or maybe it's just a combination of having a certain type of lifestyle that puts them in precarious positions. But I would have never guessed. I didn't even know that he was in on some shit like this. Just the last part of it where the dude was like, oh, well, yeah, he took millions, but he didn't know. You think they would have said that or gave that same excuse for a black man? They would have threw his ass under the jail. Period. He wouldn't have got that same grace. Just saying. The justice system is so flawed. You want to celebrate when people beat allegations, they beat life sentences, they beat situations that could remove them from everything that they've known and loved. But then it's like bittersweet because you know that these motherfuckers be letting the wrong people back out on the street. Now, y'all talking about him returning to the WWE. Why? Why would he come back? In today's wrestling is trash. The storylines are trash. The writing is trash. They're not creative whatsoever. Everything is solely based around Roman Reigns and the Usos. Y'all don't put the same type of respect and focus on none of your other roster. He's not in shape. Y'all didn't show him no love or respect when he was there. What would be the point of bringing him back? Unless it really made sense. And then the other thing is, when it was, I can't think of her name. It was a woman. She had that shit go on where she was stealing. Y'all got rid of her because of the image and all that. Why would you now want to bring? I don't know. Why would you want to bring somebody back into the company that just do this? Maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. Cool. Matter of fact, put it this way, y'all should have done right by him when he was there. All these third generation superstars, y'all just let fall through the cracks. Y'all could have built them better. You should have did what you did with them then, but y'all didn't want to. Now you want to bring these old heads back to do shit? Nah. But congratulations to him for beating the case.